as a marketer, we have created so much content to absorb and to learn and use so many different channels to get to people. I can't be an expert at everything. That would be gross.
I think too broad of service areas is kind of cold. I think like as tight as you can do it and as more frequent as you can do it. So I believe we're almost effective if we get really tight on a service area and hit it 5 times. Hey, how's it going? It's Tim Brown, and this is the Plumbing and HVAC Hustle Podcast. And today I've got Sarah Ghirardo, and she's from Service Titan and the Trademark Podcast. And I would love, if you don't mind sharing a little bit of the background about you. I just want to say our topic real quick so people know internal versus external marketing. And we're also talking about hiring versus outsourcing and versus AI, which is kind of a new way that you can use tools to kind of take the functions of people sometimes. We're going to talk about a little bit of how. But Sarah, could you give us a little bit of a background and why you might have a unique perspective on this topic?
Yeah, most definitely. So I have been working in the home service industry for about 8.5 years now, almost 9 years. And I was a director and internal marketer for a large residential HVAC company. And then I moved over to Service Titan to be able to help people at scale. And now I get to make marketing product for the home service industry and the commercial industry. And really leverage my marketing strategies to help the trades as much as I can. So I work, I have created a generative AI team. And so I work very closely with AI and also with the marketers as I teach marketing in the trades summits for Service Titan. So yeah.
Absolutely. So I kind of wanted to start, if you don't mind, with like almost like an outlay of the first, I don't know, 30 million of a HVAC company's timeline. Like,
Okay.
where would you suggest doing? I think there's a little bit of doing it yourself for a lot of companies at the very beginning. Like, you have to do some marketing. We'd really love it if as owners, you would learn about social media and be able to post and be able to do some basics. And I'm not going to tell you when to put where or what, but there
Okay.
might be some agency usage, there might be some internal hiring, there might be some, what order? So if we're going by, if I take the timeline starting from 0 up to 30 million on the other side of the screen, can you walk me through where you do what? So let's say 0 to 1 million.
It's all going to be varied, right? Because there's
Yeah.
not a lot starting at 0 anymore because they're buying and acquiring, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, the market is changing and the industry is changing a little bit. So, if I were at 0, I would be guerrilla marketing, right? I would be the owner, referral based, word of mouth, that protecting my numbers, learning my numbers as much as possible, and having people who generate revenue. Now, is that a marketing company? Absolutely. You'll probably be using an agency. They'll be building out your website, making sure that your SEO is good, your Google business profile. Will you be starting into social media? Let's just get the basics first, and then we can start moving into there. So now we're 0 to 5 million is really where I see these range. And then I'm like, cool, now that I've gotten my website, my Google My Business, my agency and structure in place, I'm going to start adding social, because social is easy when you have the right management. And I would probably just outsource social. Either, you can have interns that just love social media, and people talk about it all the time. They're like, don't hire an intern. They love that stuff, right? And if they're good at it and they want to learn this career, then allow them to learn with you, is what I say.
Do you have any if you're recommending outsourcing social, do you have any resources or folks that, I know you say you don't recommend anyone, but is there anyone you know of? And I know you can't recommend or whatever, but
Yeah,
is there anybody that's good at that you know, or?
Yeah. So there are a couple of people. So I know that McKenna Harless is doing social with True North. She's great. She's fun. She's dynamic. Jen McKee has conquered TikTok. She's come and talked to us about it. There are lots of companies out there that
Mm.
do social media for businesses and that you might not even know about it. Tim, I think you guys do YouTube, right? And some
So
channels.
we're not doing YouTube for clients. What I
Okay.
will throw out there for folks is like, I think that it's good to choose a niched agency even for social, and particularly for social. I think like,
Yeah.
so recommending like, kind of just talking about Jen, for instance, like very
She's
niche.
got
She's
TikTok,
working with a
yeah.
lot of trades companies. She's working with HVAC companies. She's working with plumbing companies. It's just better sometimes when you don't have to teach them all about the basics, because that's
Yeah.
annoying. So kind of recommend, if I had any addition to that, it would just be like focus on the little niched social agencies. They don't have to be little, but you know,
Right.
niche social agencies. I think that would be my recommendation, if anything.
Yeah, yeah, I would definitely recommend that. And like I said, each social channel as you get bigger, you could have a person managing it because the
Mm.
algorithm changes so often. But some agencies have cracked the algorithm on one and like are tweaking it to understand the content they develop. So, yeah, so that's kind of what I would do at
I
5 million and
Can
up.
I
Yeah.
throw one more note in
Oh yeah.
on that side? I'm gonna say this when if I disagree, and I'm sorry for disagreeing so quick, but I guess I believe in the whole you should learn it yourself thing at the beginning. I Unfortunately that's not always the case, right? Like, and there's, like you said, there's less and less companies that are starting from absolute scratch, or it feels that way at least right now. And so noting that, like, I if you can, if you're that type of person, like for instance, if you're 30, 35, whatever, you're starting what you're if you already know social, you don't have to pay somebody to do it. Anyways, I like these companies. I think they're cool. I just think learning some on your own is kind of smart. Like, at the end of the day, no one's gonna do it as best as you. And I've talked to Jen about this, I think. It's like, but a lot of people will never do it. So that's why
That's the point.
services
It's like,
exist. Yeah.
yeah,
They'll never do
that's
it.
the
So
point.
then
A lot
don't,
of
like, we're
people
not
will
gonna,
not do it.
yeah.
And so that's where you need that person to do it for you.
Yeah.
And you have to understand that as you're growing your business on social, you're not just growing your business, you're growing your personal brand. So there's like a lot in between that, right? Like you need to be posting on your personal brand, but act as a business owner and then also a family person and all these other people, personas, and then you have your business. So it can be a lot to manage for one person, and it can be overwhelming. In the company that I used to work for, I was the owner, I was myself, I was the business, right?
Mhm.
And then based on what the post was about, it got escalated and routed to different personas.
Mhm. All right, let's talk about that. Five to what's the next benchmark here, would you say?
Like over 5 million, I definitely like start looking into, okay, well, now I need to pay attention to my numbers because word of mouth will take me so far, but I really need to like push it a little bit further.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd probably even look at acquiring like a new customer list just so
Mm.
I could see what's happening. And then now that I have a new customer list and I'm adding additional are already, customers, I need to figure out how do I market to them. And so that's when I'd start to look at an internal marketer and be like, I need strategy, I need placement, I need someone to manage these vendors, to manage this list and this data, to really help me understand, okay, like what can I do with it? How do I hit up my existing customers? How do I hit up this new customer list?
Because us vendors are squirrely, and you got to keep us under wraps. No,
Yeah.
I think, like, it's true though. Like, no one. It's very hard to be. Let's be real. It's hard to be an outside agency and to provide results to, especially at a point if there's not a good point of contact internally at a company. I
Yes.
think that that's one of the things that agencies, we can't, it's hard to then get into the company and get all the context. We have to get all the context. And so
Yep.
if you have a different person on the other side that can connect to us, we get better results. And then, internal marketer can't do everything. So I like to imagine the best possible scenario is, and this is just my opinion, but I think this goes up to 20 at least. But I think like it's good to have both. You got internal
Yeah.
person who's got the social chops or whatever else. They're doing some video, they're doing some whatever it is, and strategy and
Right.
metric reporting and stuff like that. And then you've got an agency that can kind of layer on, give some specialties. Hey, I don't the internal marketer is like, I don't necessarily always know Google ads down to this. And like, plus a lot of times agencies have other clients like that, so they can use the information, and SEO is weird and hard, and design and development are kind of odd. So
Yeah.
it's not like every internal marketer is going to know 9 different types of marketing. So that's where I think people get trapped. They think if they hire one marketer, sometimes they get confused and think that person should know all marketing.
Yeah, it's just not possible. And especially not possible in today's world, right? Because as a marketer, we have created so much content to absorb and to learn and use so many different channels to get to people that, like, I can't be an expert at everything. That would be gross, right? Nobody wants to be an
Yeah.
expert at
Yeah.
everything, and nobody wants to know everything. So, what I did, I was a generalist. I was a director of digital marketing. Like, that's a crazy title, right?
Yeah.
I had to do social, email, direct mail, commercials, radio, like, I mean, you name it. I was brochures, like I was doing it all. And it's too much for one person.
Mm.
And it affects your mental health. It's just not productive because
Mhm.
it's just not. But what I learned is that I had to partner with my agencies that did know what to do for SEO, that did know what to do for PPC, same with social, same with direct mail, all of these things. I had to become so collaborative that I leaned in with them and created true partnerships and brought them together to have conversations of like, cool, my job is to grow this business. Can you help me? Right?
I know that you're really familiar with a lot of the vendors, and I know that you're not necessarily making recommendations, but I know that we were talking about the fractional CMO thing
Yeah.
that is kind of, I don't know, it feels popular to me right now. And it seems like these people are getting good results with them.
Yeah.
Is there any size companies that seem to make the most sense for this type of service? And can you share a few names of companies that do that?
Yeah, so we'd probably be in the 5 million plus. I could see a fractional CMO. They did just kind of pop up, right?
Yeah.
Because fractional CMOs have the ability to help automate your business and like give you high level strategy with planning and stuff like that. I know Amber McKee is really into business planning, and she will dive in with you with the numbers and get you set with a strategy. And that's really what fractional CMOs are there for, right?
Is
They're going
Amber
to
the one that
be,
worked for Gettle before?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Smart.
Incredibly brilliant. And everyone, all the vendors that I've met are really brilliant people, right? And I only surround myself with brilliance. That's first. Second, is that I know of as fractional CMO is Brianna Skiffington. So she's
Mm.
incredibly intelligent. She's created some automations and bots that will help your business. And, like she's just incredibly intelligent and has a great tech team behind her. So those are, some great fractional CMOs to start with. And I think like, are they replacing the internal marketer? Are they replacing the CMO role internally in an organization? I don't know. Does
Mm.
the marketer's role evolve? Absolutely. With AI, all of our roles are evolving. But
Maybe
does it
you could
mean that,
hire like a little bit less seasoned of a marketer internally and then layer on like one of these fractional CMOs. I could see that work because sometimes you just need busy work done, right? You
yeah,
need busy work internally, but they're not always so full-fledged CMO yet.
right.
But you still need to get that work done internally. So I could see that. I don't know.
I
Like,
could totally see
yeah.
that. I could see, bots taking over parts of our jobs, right? And
Hmm.
like copywriting or eventually design. Um, and I could see creating marketing strategy. Like I can see a lot of different ways that the marketer's role, the internal marketer's role will evolve, but I think the best thing that I see is that it's evolving with efficiency. Because back in the day, it just wasn't efficient to wear that many hats um, in one setting, right? And
Mm.
so now I feel like with all of these new tools and all of these new people and these new roles and bots and automation and AI, it gives marketers a breath of fresh air to take a deep breath and, you know, have help.
Seems like CMOs that we were just talking about, fractional CMOs, excuse me, seem to be working with very large companies too. Like this isn't limited to that, any particular like revenue limit.
Yeah, no, and it seems like, but it could be the most efficient way if they've got the right automations in the back end, right? Because they're working with equity companies. And so they're saying, hey, here's a scalable strategy for all of you instead of just one of you. It seems to be like I would see, I've seen a lot of the fractional CMOs go with equity companies,
Mm.
private equity. Again, I think everything is just so new. We're just watching things develop as we go.
And like maybe not a fractional CMO, but we talked about Lemon Seed being an example of like they're also like marketing strategy type
They're like a
company.
marketing strategy company. Yeah, I would say that they're a fractional CMO in their own ways.
Okay.
They are your internal marketer. So they will hold other vendors accountable.
Mm.
Lemon Seeds also like there's so many great vendors out there.
Yeah.
But yeah, like working with them is they're just so incredibly intelligent.
And do you know
And
the
kind.
revenue kind of ranges that they might work with?
I don't because I feel like their businesses have grown in revenue size drastically and they have a loyal customer base
Mm.
because they have like this attachment brand. Yeah, it's really cool.
Let's talk about the kind of the next few phases. So you've got kind of, we talked about a little bit of the internal marketer plus agency model. When is it maybe a little bit more like let's get three people internally? Where is it where it's like the department, maybe it's department plus AI, maybe I don't know, like we work with some larger companies, like a few HVAC companies over 50 million. Um, and by the way, loving what you can do on attribution through Service Titan with one of those. I'm really excited about the ability to get attribution of our marketing efforts all the way down to the dollar amount with where it came from. So love that. So good work over there. Um, where is it like where it's like we're going to take a lot of this internal though? Like where is the most common size where they start to get multiple experts internally?
I would love to say like the faster you could make a team, the better. I have seen the majority take them in around like they're like, "Oh, we need a team around like 50, 55 million." And you're like, "Wow,
Mm.
that's way too late." But like I would love to see it, around like I would start to expand my team as soon as I realized that I either need calls on the board or like I have too many calls on the board.
Mm.
So when my capacity is at a limit, that's when I'm knowing like I need to add either more people in my marketing team to help me get production out, or like, help me hire because marketing has a hiring aspect, recruiting aspect as well. Um,
Yeah, and there's like a little bit of like a lag there, I think, because sometimes marketers, I'm just going to be brutally honest. Sometimes marketers want to work at fun places, and sometimes trades businesses are not known for their fun quotient
well,
at the
I was
office.
hired and they told me that HVAC was not sexy. And I was like, challenge accepted. I
Yeah,
am going to bring sexy back. So that's
yeah.
what I did.
It takes people like you to make it more fun. And it's also like we're talking about sometimes it's versus AI, but sometimes it's how could we do more with less like blood, sweat, and tears. So if
Yeah.
you could take three people internally at a $50 million company and make them get as much as 7 people done because we're leveraging AI, it could make the job more fun and more sexy and more, I guess, less of a workhorse situation that sometimes it can be as an
Mhm.
from what you're kind of saying, where it can be that very intense situation where you got 7 jobs,
Yeah,
basically.
you got 7 jobs for one job for each day of the week, and you're just like, what is happening? But like creating those automations, those bots that will help you grow a person's career. That's the goal, right? We're in it for people, and we're in it for it's a people and experience business, is what I've been taught. And you may start someone and say, hey, you're going to work on social media, and that's going to be layered a little bit with email because, like, let's see what we can do. Well, like, what in email can you bot? And then what in social can you bot and repurpose and use AI to really help you get and grow into other roles in your organization? And that's what I would say. Okay, so for example, I hired a copywriter, a marketing generalist, and I was like, "Cool, we need to make sure that you can produce, but your role can grow." And so we created some bots and automation to help her get the content out faster. But then her role has grown into, something even bigger. And that's the point, right? It's not like we don't want people to be complacent in their roles, but we want to help them evolve our business and evolve themselves.
Yeah, and I think like increased specialization, like even like so my biggest marketing besides like, I'm our marketer, which is complicated, but I've got a video guy who's awesome. And even in video, there's the person taking the video and the person editing the video. So long term,
Yes.
you could imagine a world where there's somebody capturing and somebody's editing, but there is a certain amount of like increased value in their career, and it feels good to specialize. Like anyone is special. So that's why sometimes even though I've always loved small businesses, I can see how if you worked at somewhere you loved and you got to specialize in the one thing you really liked,
Yeah.
that you would enjoy it more. And I think that like as as a marketer from a $5 to $20 million company is going to be totally different than that $50 to $100 million company, right? Because if you have but it's also teammates, because that's the tough part about being a marketer by yourself. Like that's tough because we kind of work in a collaborative, creative environment, and I think you got to figure out a way to do that with your people internally, is to give them some kind of creative, collaborative environment, because they're usually like a little bit marketers. Hey, sorry. I feel like it's probably marketers watching this. Sorry, guys. We're soft sometimes. We're a little kind of squirrely, and we want to be able to experiment with stuff. And I think that that's better sometimes when you have a few people alongside you. So if you can get, even if you only have one marketer internally at your company, if you can get them around some other people that are willing to experiment with them, like if you have a technician that's having fun, if you have a sales guy that loves being on camera, if you can get them in a little pod, I feel like you're going to get a better result out of your internal marketer for sure.
Yeah, and I think you made a great point. Like internal marketers need to be connected to the team. And that's the point of having an internal marketer, is that connection, right? And
Mhm.
so my job is not just to produce business for the team. My job is to help fill in the content gaps throughout the entire customer journey.
Yeah.
So not only did I have like my marketing hat that I had to deal with, it's like once I had a campaign, well, how do we speak about it? How do we be about it? Right. And so I had to say, okay, well, here's the CSR script. Here is the technician script. Here is the installer. Like it just keeps going, right? Do they have a book? Like, and then when people say no to, a conversion, it's because they don't have enough content, and so, and like that's my job, right? And so the closer I can get to these teams internally, the better conversion and conversation we can have to that I can supply them with the content that's needed.
Were
That's
you
an
guys were you guys shooting any videos that you were utilizing during the sales process?
So Rilla allows you to listen to it's an AI in your pocket,
Yeah.
listens to the appointment. It's pretty crazy what it can do. It gives a script, gives everything they said, it breaks down some statistics for you.
Analyze talk ratio, interactivity, like how you and I are interacting back and forth, long as modeling, like all those
Honestly,
things.
this is the shit that I most believe in AI.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Enhancing the
You're
human
about to put
experience.
math and data around something that used to be my magic skill.
Yeah, and I wish that we would have taken a ton more video. So we outsourced our video, and I think they have someone in-house now, and again, video is so cool. Like I've seen so many people like Lance, he has a video team follow him all the time. If
Mhm.
someone had like a video team, an editor, like all of that, and you were just pumping out content, like that's the
Mm.
way to go. If I could have someone follow me around all day while I'm traveling, that would be cool. At home, it would just be boring. They'd be like, "You have
Yeah.
not left your desk for like 20 hours.
Yeah.
What are you doing right now?"
Yeah, that's why we get out on job sites because I literally I'm like, if we just shoot content in this office all day, I don't think anyone's gonna want to watch. So we go we just go out to our clients. It's not as we don't provide it as a service per se. Like we don't charge. We just go out on job sites because it's more interesting, and then we get into the sales stuff, and it's like sales trainers and stuff like that because marketing by itself can be a little boring to like our clients. Like I know our clients are not like, oh, I want to hear another 7 best tips for getting higher on Google. Like I will make that video again if you guys want it. Comment below. No, I will make that video, but it's just marketing by itself. Sometimes I like to mix in sales and on the job stuff.
Well, I mean, like that's our job is to make that conversion happen, right? And it
Hmm.
doesn't stop just at the direct mail piece that I send out. Like it just doesn't. And if the ROI is hidden in the operations. And so like I have to make sure that the operations is on point. And maybe I don't, but I don't want to see like I hate not winning. So like for me, when I thought about marketing, I was like, and no matter what I do, I feel like life is an infinite game. And so I play the game well. And if I don't know the game, then I learn the game. And so that's how I kind of play marketing. It's fun to me. I'm always figuring out a different approach, and getting out there with a team and being a part of that and getting their videos. It's just such a different beautiful story to tell. Like I used to do these my story segments where it was literally getting to know one person in the organization and just video them and let them tell their story. And I would sit there and I'd have a list of questions and I'd go through it and I would start with their childhood and grow up. But like I gave them the ability to say, and I said this to them, I was like, you can say whatever you want on the camera and I'll edit it out. And a lot of them would open up like a lot. And so what I would do is I would take their story and rephrase it into this, like to show them what like light they have surrounding them. Instead of like what's their story in their head. And so like that was a gift to even be able to do that as a marketer. So I mean, video's everywhere, and I love video, but just think about how the different ways you can use it. Like, use it to get to know a person, not just to record them.
And we're talking about ways to leverage internal, external, and
AI.
AI here. So I'll just add in leverage AI or leverage video further by turning it into a blog post. So, it's very easy to take the script off of YouTube. You press the subtitles button, you get rid of the timestamps, you copy it all. You say, turn this into a blog post. You might give it a little bit more criteria, but like if you have subject matter experts internally at your HVAC, plumbing, whatever home service business, and you turn the camera on them for, let's say, even 10 minutes, you go to a job with them, you do something that's interesting, you talk about why you care about indoor air quality, for instance, or something. And you take that, it's only 10 minutes of their time, but then you can turn it into 10 different things, right? You can turn it into reels, short form video. You can turn it into a blog post, which will help with your SEO. And you can figure out other ways to, AI makes that super, super easy, and you don't have to have somebody sit there and transcribe it. So you took 10 minutes out of a subject matter expert's time, and you can create 10 pieces of content with it from there. And I don't think, Jen McKee was just talking about this on social today, but like, put it on every platform. You know what I mean? Like, don't just put it on TikTok. Don't just put it on Instagram. Don't just put it on Facebook. And some of you guys aren't using Facebook, even though it's the localist thing. You could put it in groups. You could put it in YouTube. Is it Shorts? I think it's Shorts. YouTube Shorts. And YouTube Shorts does well for a different reason, because not everyone on TikTok is putting their TikToks on Shorts. So there's like opportunity there. And so put it on all four. Then you got a bunch of different content from 10 minutes with one of your technicians' time, or somebody on your team that's an expert. So I think that's the thing, is like, we don't want to bug people in the company to make us all more money. Like, it's okay to bug them.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's their job it's part of their job. And that's what we need to tell, like when we hire someone, I'm like, you're cool. Like, no matter what, you're a content creator. No matter what role you're in, right?
Yep.
You are in sales, you are a content creator, and we are going to do this together. And you're going to sign a media release. We're going to have conversations together about how you're going to be somewhere in a picture.
Go add that to your employee agreement right now.
Right now.
Add a little paragraph that says, I'm okay being on camera, and I might be asked to be part of some videos. Because every single company out there, you're a content machine now. Sorry. It's part of it. It's part of it now. We all need a market, and it's way more fun to market when you're including the people who are actually doing the work.
Many homes suffer from inefficient HVAC systems due to leaky ducts, leading to uneven room temps, lost airflow, and higher energy costs. AeroSeal's innovative sealant technology targets and repairs leaks, improving airflow and efficiency. Increase your customer satisfaction, increase sales, and offer a unique market advantage. Become a leader in HVAC efficiency. AeroSeal.com.
Yeah, your team needs to be involved. You need to have buy-in, and you need to have them sign that media release, because they have a personal brand they can grow as well. And for those that are probably overwhelmed, you're like, oh my God, I need to post on 4 different channels and have like 10 different pieces of content from one video. You can use automation. So Zapier has this, make.com has automations that you can build. There are repurpose.io, social media tools all have.
So repurpose.io, just real quick on that one's sweet, because it will literally, it will automatically post from your TikTok to all your other channels, or whatever one you want to put it on, and then it will post to all the other ones. So I was just saying, put it on all of them. That one makes it super simple. Excuse me.
Super. No, it's the best. I have so many different automations going on. And then it throws it into Google Drive so that you can give it to a social team so that they can curate more content, right? Nice. So it's like there are easier ways to do this and affordable ways to do it, right? And I think like that's the cool part about just AI and automations in general. It's like you don't have to do all of this like clicking and everywhere. You can just set it and check the connection every once in a while for credential sakes. But yeah.
But you guys are doing some AI stuff as part of ServiceTitan now?
Yeah, so I mean, we've always been doing AI. It's called Titan Intelligence. It's again utilizing ServiceTitan. It's about making your business more automated and efficient, and leveraging AI to the data that you have inside of ServiceTitan. It will only give you better results. So we are leveraging AI in a lot of different ways, and we're innovators, and that's the great thing about technology companies. It's not like we're sitting behind and being like, no, we're just not going to use that. You
And
know?
from your guys' perspective, as you guys are using this for more and more things, um, you can use data, and talking about data mining and essentially how to use continuity in your data to make better marketing automations, maybe build personas, personalizing your audiences more. Where have you seen having the data under one roof has been an advantage for Service Titan users?
Well, I think it's in every day, right? When your data is under one roof, it's like you're not passing through with security issues, you're not passing back and forth opt-ins and opt-outs. Like you're working with a system that you have and leveraging the data inside of the system to make it work for you more. So that's what I talk about, mining data. And the cool thing with, our product is it builds a story with the data, and just like you do when you pull lists and things like that, but it's kept within our system, and it's some of our product is actually leveraging that data to optimize, to get the best results. Our ads product does that, and that's the cool part about TI and AI. It's that it has the opportunity to say, hey, this looks like, it's like lookalike audiences, and creating like really cool things to understand your CRM and the people inside of it better. So it's not just using AI, it's just really being smart about how you house your data, and how when you leverage a tool, you want to leverage the most out of that tool. Doesn't matter what CRM, ERP you are, because that tool was meant to make your business more automated and efficient.
All right, Sarah. Well, thank you for being part of this. Let me try to ask some final questions here, and if they work, they work, and we'll see how it goes. We got hot takes and cold trends. So, what's a hot take you have about the home services industry? Is there anything that you have, opinions that you have that you think might be controversial?
Right now I am really just like learning about acquiring and acquisitions and mergers. And so I've been, reading up on books and working to understand that. I don't think it's controversial. I think it's, the way of the business. I think that those that have sold will be starting to come back into the marketplace as maybe private equity companies themselves. And I'm interested to see that trend and where that will go. I am interested to see where AI will go and how it will evolve roles in different areas as of customer service and as in marketing. Also in, helping technicians and just, all of our employees become more efficient and automated. And I think that will be controversial because people will be like, well, does the customer service role not exist anymore? Well, I mean, like, it's one of the hardest roles to keep, to be honest. So like, I just see it evolving, and that's gonna interest me the most, is like, what does that look like? The other
What
big thing is the SEO role. I'm interested to see how that's going to evolve with AI, and if vendors are going to not talk about how, well, it's just not there yet, right? You're like, but why wouldn't you want to plan for it? Why wouldn't you? I always just wonder that. I'm like, why aren't you planning for it? And so now I'm thinking, reevaluating my vendor questions of like, how innovative are you?
Yeah, I think that's good. Yeah, we kind of ran in a little quick.
Yeah.
Because out of fear, really, just like, sometimes fear is useful though. Because we ran in so quick, and we experimented really hard for like 6 months, and then we just really rolled out AI as part of every like SEO engagement. We are putting out a lot more content than we were already putting out a lot more content than a lot of competitors, but we doubled that and 2.5x that fairly quickly, over the course of a few months. And so the fear led to better results. But the other part is that there's a content inflation that I see on the internet happening right now, which the question is that good for users, homeowners, etc.? And time will tell whether we get to some kind of inflection point where AI is eating AI, and we have to kind of resurface what we're really trying to do here. You know what I mean? Like we're putting out AI content, but it's human edited. But it's like at the end of the day, there's a certain point where it's like, how do we get back to some expertise? You know what I mean? Like, and ultimately, to me, HVAC companies, home service companies that can tap their actual subject matter experts. I don't know if you've seen this on Instagram where it'll be like somebody sharing like the specifics of an HVAC system or something like that, and they spew some not real facts, and it's some marketers that are just like, and then like everyone's roasting them in the comments because it's not real.
Yeah.
I think that just like AI can sometimes hallucinate, marketers hallucinate. Like, so ultimately, like as much as we can get in front of more subject matter experts and try to build some of that into the marketing, I think that that's definitely an opportunity for people internally. Any cold trends? Let's go to the last one. Cold trends, things you think that are people should stop wasting time, money, energy, or effort on.
It just depends on your market, right? Like Matthew Tyner, he loves to talk about yellow pages and phone books. He's like, this is my demo, and it's just like hot. And I'm like, cool. And ours, it's not. And like, I haven't seen a yellow book page, whatever, delivered to my house in a long time. And if I did, I would just throw it away. Like, that's my person. Like, I don't like nonsense. But like, it works for his area, so I'm not gonna like be like, hey, that's cold.
You can say that's cold. That's okay. It's kind of a
it kind of
slightly
is
spicy
like,
section.
yeah. And I wouldn't have personally, if my phone book or a phone book provider came to me and was like, hey, I have an SEO company and I'm gonna go and make websites, I wouldn't choose them to make a website for me. So maybe like certain vendors could get cold, depending on what they do, and maybe not use them. I don't really know. Like, what would you think is cold?
Well, I've had a lot of people say a lot of things on this, so I would try to not say so. That's good. Thank you for putting it back on me, because that's a hard one. I think one thing that I would say is a cold trend is spray and pray.
Oh yeah.
Direct mail, like going over too broad of an area. I think too broad of service areas is kind of cold. I think like as tight as you can do it, and as more frequent as you can do it. So I believe we're all most effective if we get really tight on a service area and hit it 5 times. And I believe that you can get more and more effective by pushing more and more items. I've seen so much of marketing is not just like one billboard, just SEO, just this by itself. There's not a lot of perfect attribution is hard too. That's a little bit of a cold, like it's hard, right?
It's very hard, yeah.
Because like if we Googled the company name because we saw the billboard, Tim gets credit maybe.
Right.
Yeah, in CRM, like right, it's imperfect. Like let's be real. It's a silly game sometimes. It's fun. It's a fun game.
I'm gonna say attribution is cold. Like
perfect attribution. Perfect attribution is cold, and like really far flung service areas where people think they're gonna like hit people one time and think they're gonna turn into customers.
Yeah, that's not gonna happen. You need consistency and personalization, and I think you're absolutely right. Like, and that goes with personalization and email. That goes with personalization and direct mail. Like anything mass. Like, great, your billboards. Are they in a certain specific spot in the area that you could talk about that people love? Like, have you co-branded and partnered with someone in that community? Maybe you can both pay for a billboard together. Like there are different ways to do business, and I think you're absolutely right. Like it's not cold. It's just like, how do you do it better?
Well, I really appreciate you being on. I have more questions for you. Maybe I'll ask some of those in person.
Yeah.
at Pantheon coming up here soon. What is the dates for that?
Pantheon is, so I'm going to a lot of conferences. Pantheon, give me 1 second. Let me make sure I get this absolutely right.
I think it's September. Sorry, I just Googled it. September
Okay.
30th to October 2nd.
Yes.
So I think September 30th is just that night, and then it's a couple days. Orlando World Center Marriott. Is there any like folks that you're particularly excited about seeing there?
I'm just excited about seeing everybody. Like we love seeing our customers at Pantheon, and I just, it's one of my favorite times of the year. So just excited to see everybody come see us at the Marketing Pro booths, and I'll be speaking as well. Lots of great content, and just super excited to be there.
Well, thank you for being on.
Yeah.
What is the first couple of steps if somebody wanted to get started with Service Titan?
If they wanted to get started with Service Titan, just go to servicetitan.com and fill out that lead form, and someone will be in contact with you. And that is how you get started.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being on. The podcast is put on by hookagency.com, Hook Agency all over social media, and I hope you guys have a good one. Bye.